Today we're going to talk about subtracting integers. So the rules for adding integers and subtracting integers go hand in hand. When you're adding integers, if the signs are the same, you add the numbers and keep the sign. If the signs are different, you subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay, when you're subtracting, there's a rule that we call adding the opposite. So how that works is you have a negative 3 minus 3. Okay, you'd read that, negative 3 minus 3. To add the opposite, I'm going to take negative 3 and add a negative 3. Negative 3 plus negative 3, rather than negative 3 minus 3. It's the same thing, but you add a plus sign. Okay, negative 3 plus negative 3 equals negative 6. So whenever you subtract integers, you go back to the same rules as adding. Because now you have a plus sign. Whenever you're subtracting integers, you'll end up with either one plus sign or two plus signs. So as long as you have the rules for adding integers down, you can subtract integers. Negative 3 plus negative 3, the signs are the same. I'm adding the numbers and keeping the sign. And it's negative 6. On a number line, if I was at negative 3, and I subtract 3 from it, I'm going to go 3 farther in the negative direction. 1, 2, 3. And I'm at negative 6. And that's my answer. Okay. The other way that you're going to see subtracting integers is like this. 2 minus negative 8. Okay, to add the opposite here, whenever you're subtracting integers, you're always going to add the opposite, one way or another. You're going to add one plus sign or two. When you see a minus and negative, you add the opposite like that. 2 plus 8 equals 10. The whole thing becomes positive. Okay, because it's like you're taking a negative away. So you're going in the opposite direction, which is positive. So you add the opposite. Okay. Now, if you have a negative number like this, and you're subtracting a negative like that, negative 15 minus a negative 3, you're still going to add the opposite. You have a subtraction of a negative. They turn to plus. Okay, whenever you see a minus and negative, you make it into two plus symbols. So that's 15 plus 3. Okay, some people like to take those two minus symbols and make them into one big plus. Either way, you're then adding. Subtraction always turns to adding. Now, with the rules of adding integers, negative 15 plus 3, the signs are different, so you're going to subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the bigger number. 15 minus 3 is 12. Okay, there's more negative because the absolute value of negative 15 is higher than 3. Okay, and so that means this is considered the bigger number. So that means there's more negative, so your answer is going to be negative. Other than that, you just subtract the numbers because the signs are different. So as long as you know the rules for adding integers, you can subtract integers. You just have to remember to add the opposite. Okay, here's another one. Negative 9 plus 3. Oh, sorry, plus a negative 3. Okay, so we're subtracting. Negative 9 minus 3. Okay, I'm going to add the opposite, because if I read this, it says negative 9 minus 3. So to add the opposite, it's negative 9 plus a negative 3. So now I'm adding integers, going back to the rules for adding integers. So the signs are the same. Got a negative plus a negative. I'm going to add the numbers and keep the sign. Negative 12.